Hi, I'm Angela.
And I'm Charlie Fitzpatrick. The holiday season is here again.
Hey, good morning to everybody out there in YouTube land on this Friday. I guess most of y'all are digging out of some form of ice, snow, or something based upon the weather reports and what we saw yesterday. This huge amount of rain and snow just went from Mississippi to New York in like 36 hours. And y'all got to live it. Hope everybody made it out unscathed. The visuals are pretty unimpressive for the most part, but I heard there was something like 8 to 6 inches up in northern New York, stuff like that, on the snow level. So a good little shot of winter before your Thanksgiving gives the whole over the hills and through the woods story a little bit more to it on Thanksgiving. But hey, thanks for checking in with us. If you're having to get out in the snow, double down on those four-wheel drive snow tires or something. Make sure you wear your gloves. Hey, we got Walter Davis with us. Good morning. The Farkas, good morning. How's it going out there? You're probably stuck right in the middle of that mess, both of you. Tommy Boy 9, good morning. Hope everybody's doing good. Looks like in Montana is enjoying a similar event as most of the Northeast. But it's clear out here in the West, you would say. Very just clear and cold for us out here. So we'll just endure it, I guess. But send something our way if you can. We need snow or rain, whatever. We won't be picky. But that winter storm, they've already got. I hate they calling these winter storms names. It just confuses me. I guess they're calling this one Winter Storm Avery. They're blaming deaths of 8 people on the wintry road conditions. It's like it. I did see some video of photos off the Twitter yesterday of one of the New Jersey turnpikes or something. Just traffic backed up at the evening commute last night. Looked like it was a traffic jam for miles. Another good reason not to live that close to so many people. But it looked like there were some bad traffic incidents. For sure. Here it says Pennsylvania trooper has been working on a 30-mile stretch of Interstate 78. People have been stranded for 12 hours. Make sure you got your preps in your vehicle. There's another good example of why to have that little bit of what you need inside the vehicle. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Multi-vehicle accident on the George Washington Bridge Thursday afternoon. Some of these videos are just enjoyable, just comedic relief sometimes in some of these winter driving videos. As long as nobody gets hurt. Cars sliding sideways and everything else. This is just people stuck in the traffic, it looks like. Shared on Twitter yesterday. A little early for winter. I've been hypothesizing for a couple years now. It seems like winter's creeping earlier and earlier, but it seems to be ending earlier too. So like winter seems to be going from like, oh, don't rear in the tractor and trailer there.
Accident over here.
Tractor and trailer got cut off by somebody.
Are you okay?
Don't pull out in front of an 18-wheeler
Almost just like you.
in the winter.
I know, like a. Yeah, I couldn't stop. It's so slippery in here. Oh my God. DW clusterfuck. DW clusterfuck.
The GW bridge is in bad shape, it looks like yesterday.
You okay? Yeah.
Pulling right out in front of an 18-wheeler. That'll get a bad result right there.
Look at this bullshit. The bridge is open, but everybody's moving away to let them.
The guy got out of his car. Looks like and videoed all the way to the front of where the incident was to figure out what was going on. So lots of fun. People making bad decisions, probably driving unsafely, at least erratically enough to cause something like that to happen. People don't listen to the guidance of big trucks can't stop as fast as you. Yeah, here's one of those pictures from, is this? Somebody was on the turnpike for 3 hours. So everybody's enjoying. Why is there a camel? What the heck? There's a camel on the road somewhere. Is this in your neck of the woods, Walter? That's not something you see every day. Souderton? Is that New York, Pennsylvania? That's just, I don't know if you can see that, if that blows up very well. Camel standing on the side of the road. You don't see that every winter. This might be interesting. More interesting videos. Trucks spinning out. Can't get up the hill, or up the road at least. Misadventures on Twitter. So what else is going on out there, folks? Anybody out there not stuck in the weather? Yeah, Walter, I saw your video the other day. It wasn't even bad weather and the traffic was backed up for hours. Hey, Roger Wilco, good morning. You're not stuck in the weather. Barkus was stranded at the bar yesterday. That's a miserable lot right there. Arkansas was getting that bunch of weather too. Here's a video also on the Twitter of, you know, it gets that much weather down there, people are going to start freaking out, not knowing how to drive and stuff. It amazes me too how some of those places you get those real bad snowstorms and people, you see those videos of interstates and people don't slow down, they just don't see the wreck and they just start plowing into each other over and over, like nobody sees the accident, and just people running off the road and flying down the highway like 50 miles an hour or something. Doesn't make no sense. Yeah, they got video of Mississippi ice, Virginia ice. Indiana, all over out there, and pictures. I would look through them all, but you all have already seen it. Yeah, Roger, 72 down there where you are, huh? Yeah, that's definitely a little warm compared to the rest of us. New Jersey didn't get enough snow to call you out to plow, Walter. They have like a requirement, like minimum 6 inches or something, before they start getting worried. That's all right. Days are coming. You'll get your work in, I'm sure. But yeah, it just seems like winter's coming around a little bit earlier each year, but by like March, it's already gone. Maybe the rotation of the earth or something's changing just slightly to change the wintry ingress and egress each year just enough. You have your dogs cause traffic jams where you are, Tommy boy. They're still doing damage and body counts in these California fires. Now they're reporting 600, up to 600 still missing in the various ones. Just scarred, charred earth for as many, some of these videos you see coming out of there. As they still go, I mean, it's going to take weeks and weeks to figure it all out, clean it all up. But in particular, one story come out to think about. We talk about, right? We just, one of those things we don't talk about enough is the just simple health practices and some of the simple things you can do to prep to avoid the stuff that comes with these types of events, the health impacts. This talks about a norovirus outbreak at one of the shelters for the people that left the wildfires. You know, norovirus is one of those things you don't want to get. It's not fun. It goes by quickly, but it's pretty miserable type of thing. It makes the flu look like child's play. But things like that, you know, you stock up on hand sanitizer, having hand sanitizer in your vehicle, just little things that go a long way to help you from getting something like this. Should you end up trying to buy a mass of people in some place where you're all getting food together and who knows what else, and you know, it's all, you're just jamming there in an emergency, and not only can't you let your guard down on, you know, your hand washing and, you know, just normal stuff you do before you eat and after you go to the bathroom and everything else, but up in your game a little bit with a little hand sanitizer, bring your own toilet paper maybe. Things like that, the things, little preps that we kind of take for granted that hey, they're done and they're taken care of, but in your bug out bag, or you know, your bug out plan, or just always having it, you know, stowed away somewhere, that stuff like that can help you prevent from becoming a victim twice, essentially. First you had to leave because of some disaster, and then you get hit by some disease that is preventable, but is harder. It's easier to get when you get stuck around all these people. But there's been an outbreak in the shelter. Butte County Public Health said a lab test confirmed the virus. Those are sick, have been quarantined in the shelter. She did not know how many people had contracted the virus. Norovirus is highly contagious. It can cause diarrhea, fever, body aches. It spreads commonly when people are in close quarters. Yeah. Like a virus wildfire kind of thing. So just a FYI prepping story, bug out plan, story of the day type of thing. Yeah, don't let yourself become a victim twice because of just a little bit of preparation go a long way. to prevent at least something worse happening in the long run. And, you know, in other events, there may not be anybody there to assist in helping you get better, because this is something where you need some, you know, you need some IV fluids to help recover from something like this. It's just put you down and out for a while. So just throwing that out there to everybody as a reminder in everything that you do. Don't forget your sanitation practices, prevention of disease and such and whatnot. Tommy Boy doesn't own a snow shovel. Is that right? Man, Tommy Boy, I figured, I guess just on your side of the mountains there, you don't get enough to worry about. I had to dig snow out every year growing up. 4 inches is the standard, Walter, for New Jersey to make the call. Tommy Boy, you saw pictures. The McDonald's in Paradise didn't get touched. Just random things, I guess. Some of the video, and continue to see different pictures and angles and stuff out of that whole deal. The Malibu fire is kind of more interesting because of the money impact's probably going to be larger when just because of the supposed property values, the way it goes. Getting an update on all the different fires. The Woolsey fire down there in Malibu or whatever has destroyed nearly 550 homes in a week. That was the latest update as of last night, it looks like. This is a running update of just random stuff. 631 people are still unaccounted for after last week's Northern California fire. So that's in Butte County. So that's just that one. 63 people are now confirmed dead and destroyed 9,700 homes. That's just unreal. 52,000 people are displaced between Paradise and the other nearby towns that were evacuated. There's still 5,000 fire personnel fighting the wildfire up in Paradise. Yeah, and the air quality is, where's Rooster? Has Rooster checked in with us yet? The air quality down in the Bay Area is just, it's nuclear fallout level stuff down there. It's bad. Schools in San Francisco, Sacramento, and Oakland are closed today because of the air quality. There's that states right there. All kinds of madness going on. Get back over there. Hey, Barry Woods with us. Good morning. What's going on, Barry? Looks like it's high and dry in our area while cold. So that's kind of the latest updates out of the California fires. I'm sure the random stories that'll continue to come out. Does anybody know of any, I don't know, YouTube channels haven't been really covering this? It didn't seem like, I haven't seen like anybody that's nearby there doing any videoing of anything, live streaming or otherwise, in Northern or Southern California for that matter. You figure with all the LA YouTubers, somebody would be doing it, but I haven't seen anything. So PG&E has been highly, if you've missed it, PG&E, the Pacific Gas and Electric, has been highly suspect of being one of the causes of the northern fire up in Paradise, at least. They're suspecting it may have triggered something and been the cause of the start of that, but there's no kind of confirmation. But on the economic side, the PG&E stock was cut in half, like in a matter of hours, and they had to stop trading on the PG&E stock. So it lost half its value like really quickly as soon as that story came out of a possible cause being a power line or something like that. Because I guess the implication is that PG&E is going to be liable for a lot of this damage, which there's no way they could afford. I think you'd suspect the government just give them a pass for a lot of it. So that's kind of the latest updates on that. Higher body counts, just more and more destruction being found. It's all overall just a bad situation that is still going on, still ongoing. They definitely need some weather to change. They need some water to come in and help them out a little bit. And I don't know if the place of Paradise would ever rebuild. I don't know that a couple. I mean, I don't know. We've done chats or talked about it on other chats and whatnot. Like, America's not used to seeing things change where, you know, whole cities disappear, but it's kind of the historical norm. You know, cities come and go. Like there's historical, like London and some of the, you know, bigger cities like have been around where they are, but there's plenty of places, examples elsewhere. And like Nevada is one of the few states where you can go around and see ghost towns. Like things do change. Migrant populations, as far as for economic or other reasons, happen in history too. Like this would be a prime example of one of those as well. Something that was there and just is just gone. Hey, we got High Pocket checking in with us. Hey, how you doing? Pity for you. You had to move. Oh, did Utah not work out, High Pocket? What happened in the Great Salt Lake? You had to move back to Cali, though. Well, I will mourn with you. That's unfortunate to hear. Maybe other opportunities will pop up. Maybe. I'd hate to see anybody get stuck in California if you don't have to be. Hey, Billy Bird, how you doing? Good morning. My morning hike for you, huh? How's the weather down your way? Did all that stuff blow through your area pretty easily? We were just talking about the weather. It's pretty severe the last 48 hours or so out there on the east. So rolling on through, the market should be started, warmed up. Still struggling. There was a story, and then we'll get into this. Been talking about how the bond market's driving the train on all this, and you know, it's a data mark down in your book. The Wall Street Journal is agreeing with Trump. But the Wall Street Journal agrees with Trump. The Fed should stop hiking. So this is one of our tagged articles here that I saw out of the Zero Hedge. Just goes to show, I think this proves the point that cheap money is the only way we're going to continue to what's the word? We're going to suffer inflation without suffering a collapse, I guess. It's like an either or situation proposition. You can either have out of control inflation or you can have a full-on collapse. But President Trump had proclaimed that the Fed had gone crazy a few weeks back or whatever, when the president proclaimed the Fed is making a big mistake with ridiculous rate hikes. And the president, let's just read the article here. And when the president claimed the Fed it's his biggest threat because rates were rising too fast, the deep state lashed out with 25th Amendment headlines and democracy and independence under threat bylines. So isn't it just a little ironic that the Wall Street Journal, the bastion of free market capitalism, oracle of financial opinion, should admit in its editorial board's latest opinion that Trump is right and the Fed needs to slow down on rate hikes? Well, of course they do, because they don't want to lose their gravy train. That cheap bond market's the only way they can keep Wall Street pumped up. So this is via the Wall Street Journal editorial board here. America is not an island. So I guess this is an excerpt from the Wall Street Journal. America is not an island. As the world economy slows, Trump and the Fed need to adapt. President Trump's biggest achievement has been the revival of faster U.S. economic growth, but past performance is no guarantee of future results. The White House should be worried about growing economic strains in the rest of the world, and policymakers need to prepare. The U.S. is not an island. It's coming, folks. Oh, man. It's going to be painful. For now, the American economy, and especially the labor market, seems strong as tax reform and deregulation unleash animal spirits. Goodness, that's a little descriptive. But the German economy shrank 0.2% in the last quarter, the first contraction since 2015. Europe's largest economy will still grow this year, but a trade surplus and negative interest rates aren't a growth tonic. No, they are not. Europe in general seems to be reverting back to its post-crisis mean of meager growth. Japan contracted 0.3% in the last quarter, perhaps ending its modest growth spurt, but Beijing last month said China's economy grew a surprising slow 6.5% on year in the latest quarter, and that official figure is usually an overstatement. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Some of this is due to one-time factors such as bad weather, but anxious markets are signaling larger concern. German auto exports are weak. China is trying to sustain growth without adding to its debt. The high-yield bond market has Jimmy legs. That's a way to describe it. And oil prices are down on weaker demand. Even Federal Reserve Chairman Powell, whatever he's called, on Wednesday called events concerning. Add currency shifts to those worry beads and the U.S. dollar soars. Beijing is trying to stem flight from the yuan, and the pound fell another 1.5% against the dollar on Thursday. The euro is declining against the dollar, needs particularly watching because it's the world's most important price and contributes to investment uncertainty. Sharp changes to the euro-dollar rate contributed to the global panic in 2008. How long is this? This is in your links below. So this again is out of the Wall Street Journal. All of this is a warning for Mr. Trump and others in Washington. No moat can protect the U.S. economy, and they need to adapt. Start with the Fed, which should rethink its December rate increase. No other major central bank is likely to raise rates soon. The Fed needs to weigh whether it should expand the gulf between U.S. and foreign money policy as a fragile moment as global investors demand more dollars. Fools. Mr. Powell, be wary of seeming pliable and Mr. Trump's demand for lower rates. How much further can they go down? I mean, banks are tired of paying the price for the last 10 years. Even though they got bailed out, they want to make some money. Now is not the time for a doctrine march toward normalcy, which the Fed can resume in 2019 if the data warrant. Yeah, like it's going to change just through the winter, right? So closing off your last couple paragraphs. Mr. Trump should also settle his trade tempest. He wants Germany to export less, and look at the result after a quarter of soft auto sales abroad. Trade uncertainty is weighing on business investment, much as Barack Obama's regulatory assaults did. If you're a CEO and don't know how global supply chains will be affected by tariffs or new trade deals, you delay investment. Mr. Trump's steel tariffs are still hitting Mexico and Canada, even after the revised NAFTA deal, and his 25% car tariff reappears now. And again, like Freddy Krueger, Peter Navarro suggested that a long trade war with China last week, and stocks promptly sold off. Mr. Trump claims the U.S. economy is strong enough to ride out his trade wars. Well, how lucky does he feel? Last week, the president suffered a bruising midterm, even with a strong economy. The U.S. starts to slow like its major economic partners. He's going to lose the 2020 election before anyone has time to win a trade war. This month's G20 summit is a chance for Mr. Trump to show some economic statesmanship and look for a trade truce. This needn't be a show of weakness as he can continue negotiations. That's in the wall. I never saw such a contraction in a paper like the Wall Street Journal. Needn't. Need not. You'd think they wouldn't let that stuff. I figured somebody that wrote in the Wall Street Journal wouldn't write something like that. Need it. Needn't be a show of weakness as he can continue negotiations to press market reforms abroad on China's intellectual property theft or Europe's tax assaults on American tech companies. But he needs a signal that the U.S. won't continue punitive tariff attacks on allies. Final bold statement in the bottom of the opinion piece here. With his polarizing political style, Mr. Trump, even more than most presidents, will succeed or fail based on economic results. He should appreciate that a recession in the rest of the world is a threat to the U.S. economy in his presidency. Well, I would imagine it's going to happen regardless because the president can't really control it. But that's an interesting statement out of the Wall Street Journal acknowledging how important bond rates are and that, you can't keep raising, otherwise you're going to fall. Everything's going to fall apart. Interesting story. But I just think it leads more credence to the fact that I think Trump's just there to take the economic hit when it comes because he's an easy fall guy to blame, but it won't affect him personally. But he's a good rich guy to take the hit. Oh, goodness, we have a bunch of people check in and comment here. We got Rooster Cogburn with us. Good morning. How's it going? No sane people around, Rooster. You're probably the only one. How's the smoke going out there? We were just talking about that just a second ago. Pretty brutal, it looks like. Hi, Pocket. You must be sane because your family thinks you're nuts. Why do they think you're crazy? Because you want to get out of California? ALS, good morning. How's it going? Ann is with us. Good morning, Ann. How's it going? Economy's crashing all around us. Yes, everything is slowing, if not collapsing at a minimum. Makes me wonder how they pull off this dollar scheme. Well, everybody's so baked into it. The whole world revolves around the dollar. That's how they pull it off. They've insulated themselves from a lot of the effects, or us, or the dollar, the Fed. Oil-backed dollar, all that other good stuff. Hey, Bobby Solar Homestead, how you doing, Bobby? How did did you just get rain from this last storm that rolled through? Some of the south got some snow and ice, but you're pretty close there to the coast. I figured you just got rain. Who is that Superman supposed to be, says Ann? I didn't see a Superman. Was there a Superman? Delaware Patriot, hey, good morning. Hey, I missed your chat last night, but I watched some of it, but I'm not a big fan of your panel you had, but hey, it was still a good chat regardless. But by the time you were done, I was just rolling into the YouTube and seeing what was going on, and you're already done. But good stuff. I liked your start off about the in particular, Delaware, I liked your discussion about warming layers, and you talked about silk. The silk's a really good insulating layer. It's been around. Old mountaineers used to use it for a long time before, obviously, synthetics came around. The Hillary and everybody that climbed Everest and everything like that, they all wore silk. Silk's a really good base layer. Trump needs to stop lying about the tariffs. I don't know that he's lied about it, man. He just thinks that it's good for America. I don't know that they're going to have a negative effect one way or the other. Anna, you in California? Okay. You got bad smoke out your way too? You and Rooster share the same neighborhood? Hey, adventurous guy to the galaxy. You're probably living it up down there. You probably didn't even notice a winter storm rolled through the East Coast. Okay, check up here. Finish up on the side chat. We're about ready to roll out of here. Billy Bird says, new boss, same as the old boss. It's all show for entertainment. For our entertainment. Is that right? I don't know that we're not very entertained, Billy Bird. As Gladiator would say, we're not. Are we not entertained? Beginning of the article. The beginning of the article had Superman. There's the flag. Oh, this picture. Oh, this picture. That's Powell. That's the Fed chairman, Powell, who they put in this. This picture's been around for a while. They use it in different articles, like he's going to save the world or something, because that's kind of the position he's in. Because he's going to be the fall guy too, in the long run, probably. Yeah, that's the Fed chairman that they've put in that outfit. Bobby Solar Homestead, HR 7115, 80% receiver ban. Is there a receiver ban proposed in Congress now? There was somebody bragging that they submitted a constitutional carry bill yesterday. HR 7115, huh? Is that an import ban or is that an outright ban on all 80% receivers? Because why, I guess would be the question. Like that's going to stop anything or like that changes anything. Today's your first sun in 2 weeks, Bobby. Wow. So you got a lot of rain, but no snow or ice, I guess. So yeah, those of you just checked in, you can rewind a little bit. We talked about the weather. They had some good images out of Pennsylvania, New Jersey of car accidents. But on our prepping note of the day, talk about don't get stuck in a disaster after the disaster. On your simple preps, keep some type of. Remember, your sanitation is important. Your norovirus outbreak going on in these shelters in California, as an example of just having a little bit of hand sanitizer, some toilet paper, things like that. Don't forget the disease spread is going to increase when people are moving about in that bug out scenario. It's going to be easier to get diseases and stuff. Have some simple things set aside like hand sanitizer to prevent you from becoming a victim after the fact. And you don't want to get something like a norovirus when you're trying to take care of business. Otherwise, it will put you down and out quickly. You'll feel it for sure. Yeah, and him and Soros can be bros. Yeah, Powell. They already are bros. I mean, Powell runs the Federal Reserve, so that tells you enough right there. High Pocket, are you going to move? Am I going to move, High Pocket? It would be nice, but I don't think it's in the cards. After the election, my first instinct was like, well, we should just move to Wyoming. But then you look at it, and it's like, at what point do we stop running? We stand and fight, right? I mean, it's inevitable one way or the other. You can't run for so long. So it's time to dig in and double down, I guess you would say. You know? II Jet. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining the chat. Mill about here. Looks like you're probably your first time checking in with us. Delaware, everybody's not a fan of Shammer. Yeah, I'm less. I don't know if I'm less of a fan of Luke or Shammer. I'm not sure. But yeah, Shammer's notorious, if you would say. Yeah. Oh, there you go, Tommy boy. You can't use that 80% on your bump stock. I think there's a bump stock ban in proposition out there as well. Your wife saw 4 vehicles in the ditch yesterday, Delaware, right? Right. Yeah, it looks like a mess out there from the video we saw earlier off of the turnpike and everything. Some of these videos on the Weather Channel link below, you'll see lots of Twitter images, and this is the George Washington Bridge. People pulling in front of 18-wheelers thinking they can stop for them and stuff. You know, fools. And ask where are the Ozarks, and the Ozarks are in Arkansas and southern Missouri there. Nice little range of mountains. Bobby says it looks like they're trying to make it so you have to do all kinds of things to make it 80%. Well, of course, Bobby, for no reason. Yeah, High Pocket, I'm sure you do know. You know the deal. It's either stand and fight. What's the good of running, right? But Utah would be nice just to get away from the people, if nothing else. Well, I don't know. It depends on how far up into Salt Lake City you're moving, I guess. Bobby says it looks like, look it up, HR 7115. Okay, we'll have to look that up, Bobby. We will. And I'm pretty sure I saw that on other social media. Oh, one other article. Oh, I forgot about this one. This will be our last thing. I'll have to jet out of here. Migrant caravan made it to the border. You probably saw some of the video images of the border in Tijuana over the last couple days. This is out of the Desert Sun, though, and talking about the implications in Tijuana and how it's affecting things there. Let's see. This was what I caught, but the hundreds of people who arrived in Tijuana, this is as of yesterday evening. It was updated. Hundreds of people arrived in Tijuana with the first wave of the migrant caravans planned to spend Wednesday night in a makeshift camp by the Pacific Oceans. Steps from tall border fences. It's interesting. The migrants all ride in these nice buses, right? Yeah, this People Without Borders coalition is a bunch of communists, straight up infiltrators. But anyway, steps from the tall border fence, but those plans shifted in the evening after local and state officials opened a temporary shelter, and about 300 local residents gathered by the encampment to demand the migrants leave the upscale Playas de Tijuana neighborhood and go to the facility. Man, those Tijuana Mexicans are a bunch of racists. They wanted them out of their neighborhood and go to a shelter. That's awesome. During a confrontation that lasted more than 3 hours, area residents sang the Mexican national anthem and waved Mexican flags, chanted Mexico each time a bus transporting migrants left the beach for the temporary shelter. Mostly, this is something you did not see in any other news. Do you imagine a bunch of Mexicans yelling at a bunch of Guatemalans? That would make make some interesting TV. How is this possible? I thought only white people were racist. I like that. Mostly women and children went to the shelters, while young men from the caravan said they were determined to stay together at the beach. Basically, the invading army stayed together while the women and children went to the shelter. And awaited an estimated, the men were staying at the beach to wait an estimated 2,000 more caravan members on their way to Tijuana. Pushing, shoving, kicking, and a couple of blows broke out between the masses of residents and migrants, illuminated by the crescent moon and mobile light towers set up by authorities. It was quite the scene. It's almost like something out of The Walking Dead. So the light towers are set up by authorities on the beach of the side of the U.S. border. More than 36 municipal and federal police watch, separating people and trying to prevent the situation from devolving into fistfights and chaos. After midnight, residents assaulted journalist, injuring at least 3. We didn't see that on the news either. So the Tijuanans, is that a way to say it? The Mexicans that live in Tijuana are fed up with this bunch already. And they've not all got there yet either. So that was a group of about 300 with 2,000 more to come. And they're like, get out. So this was a USA Today photo, actually. And this is reported in a USA Today affiliate, the Desert Sun, with some images here. 15 photos. It's almost like Mexicans don't want migrants in their country. How is this possible? Interesting. So there's your yeah, you didn't hear about that at all, I don't think. At least I hadn't. But I didn't have to dig too deep for it. It was just a simple search of the migrant caravan. It was one of the first searches. But the asylum seekers will be arriving shortly with the rest of the group, I guess. So thanks everybody for checking in. We got quite the crew. Good comments. Thanks for checking in. Ann says we need to invest in electric fencing immediately. I've got just the bare minimum to keep the goats in. That's about all I can afford. Let's see who we got. So we got everybody commenting, but thanks everybody for dropping in. Delaware says the cat's out of the bag in the Ozarks, but yeah, it's super cheap land and homes. Right? Yeah. Oh, you're talking about moving to the Ozarks. Oh, is Ann looking at moving to the Ozarks? That'd be a good move, Ann. Yeah. Pastor Joe Fox over there, he's got his whole setups in the Ozarks area. What's his main channel name? Viking Preparedness. Joe Fox. His channel. You can go check that out. He's in the Ozarks. He does all his homesteading with his clan out there. And Squid and Bear is in the Ozarks as well. And is Full Spectrum Survival in the Ozarks, or are they in Tennessee? I can't remember. I think Full Spectrum Survival might be in the Ozarks as well. It is definitely, like Delaware said, the cat is kind of out of the bag. It's a great place to move to. And there's a lot of people that think it's the one of the few places for the impending apocalypse, for lack of a better word, one of the few places to go. But it's definitely a good place to move if you're looking into homesteading or any type of reclusive lifestyle. Definitely go check it out. Is Full Spectrum in Northern Alabama? Is okay. I knew he's somewhere out there. I mean, it's all well and good. People are living large. I know that. he's in Northern Alabama then? Okay. Looks like I've been corrected that Full Spectrum is in Alabama. So that's up in Saints and Sappers territory. I know when Nina there at Southern Ark Homestead did her road trip, she stopped in on them, but I wasn't sure if that was in Arkansas or somewhere else. Yeah, and a lot of people are thinking Arkansas and the Ozarks are going to be safe. That's what I'm saying. All right, folks, have a good Friday. If we don't see you on the weekend, have a good weekend. Enjoy it. Recover from that winter storm if you survive that. We'll see you on the back end. Pray for the people in California that are victims of this fire. It's definitely life-changing for sure. But y'all have a good weekend. Take it easy. We'll see you on the backside. Live free.